Now that you have seen the scope of the project and the process of creating each sheet, I want to highlight the use of XREFs and the difference between an attachment and an overlay. I'm going to use the X-Plan and the X-Elevation as examples. The A2 sheet. It is created by referencing the border and by referencing the elevation. In this linear example that I am showing you, I begin with the floor plan. I create that first. When I go to create the elevation, I reference the plan as an attachment. By doing that, when I create the A2 drawing and I reference the elevation, it brings in the image of the elevation, and it also brings with it the image of the floor plan. This is because the plan is referenced as an attachment. Now, what happens if I select the reference type to be an overlay? Using the same example with the A2 sheet and showing you once again the linear example. If I begin with the plan, I then move on to the elevation. To create the elevation, I need to reference the floor plan. In this example, the floor plan, or the title that I gave it, X-Plan, is referenced as an overlay. That means when I create the A2 drawing, I will reference the border and I will reference the elevation. But because the plan is an overlay, it is not brought into the A2 sheet. I only give you that as an example. You decide if you want the plan to be an attachment or an overlay. You can, if you'd like, use the attachment, and of course I can always create a viewport that is small enough to show only the elevation. It doesn't matter what you decide, because it is very easy to change the type from overlay to attachment, as I previously showed you using the XREF Manager. You simply double click on the text and it will toggle between attachment and overlay. By now, I hope that you're aware that the name external reference is the same as XREF. I only place this here as reinforcement. When AutoCAD allows you to take an XREF and externally reference that into another drawing file, what you are doing is referred to as nesting XREFs. If you simply select attachment every time, then all of the files will be nested XREFs. When a reference type is an overlay, the image will not be visible as a nested XREF. That is the easiest way to explain that. And the benefit of selecting an overlay is that it can eliminate the nesting of the images as more files continue to be referenced. Of course, if it is a small project, there shouldn't be a problem. On bigger projects, this becomes a concern. If the elevation drawing is referenced to assist in creating the building sections, would you need to see the floor plan? This is a question that you have to ask yourself. And once again, this is where you create your style of drawing for yourself, or if you are at an office, it is for everyone in the office. And eventually, you will print out what are called your CAD guidelines. They are to be used by everybody at the office, whoever is working there, and for future employees. It is a very powerful tool and it is very helpful. Many firms use it differently. And again, there is no right and there is no wrong. There are simply CAD guidelines to follow for each firm based on the number of people working at the firm and the magnitude of the projects.